Stacey Silva stuns fans with bold move at 90 Day. The last resort tell all after tension with Florian peaks. The explosive 90 Day. The last resort tell all is promising more emotional revelations and jaw-dropping moments, and one of the most surprising developments involves Stacey Silva. Known for her often dramatic love life, Stacey makes a decisive and unexpected move during the tell-all that shocks her fellow castmates and viewers alike. Her decision comes in the wake of intense tension between her and her longtime partner, Florian, as their once romantic journey begins to unravel under public scrutiny. While many fans have watched Stacey and Florian's ups and downs play out over the years, their relationship has often been seen as slightly more stable than the rocky path her twin sister Stacey Silva experienced with Georgi Rusev. Despite the occasional flare-up, Stacey and Florian seem to present a united front. However, behind the scenes, things have not been as smooth as they appeared. Cracks begin to show. Leading up to the tell-all, Stacey had expressed frustration over Florian's behavior, feeling that he wasn't always present or supportive when she needed him most. One of the most painful memories for her was when she had to undergo emergency surgery, and Florian chose to spend the night out instead of staying by her side. Moments like these began to accumulate, causing a deep emotional rift between them. Throughout their journey, Stacey has been the one putting in most of the effort to maintain their relationship. From giving second chances to taking the lead in solving conflicts, she consistently chose to believe in Florian's potential to grow and become the partner she hoped he would be. The tell-all turns tense. In a preview clip of the highly anticipated tell-all episode, shared by fan account at 90dayfiance_Alexa, tensions reach a boiling point. During a group therapy session, the show's professional therapists assess Stacey and Florian's relationship dynamic, revealing that the couple seems to have fallen into what they describe as a parent-child role. They note that Stacey often takes on the more responsible, guiding position, while Florian appears to be dependent, avoiding accountability and responsibility. This observation hits a nerve with Florian. Instead of absorbing the insight and taking a moment to reflect, he reacts defensively. The therapists attempt to explain that Stacey doesn't want to mother him, but rather, she ends up doing so out of necessity when he fails to contribute equally to their partnership. Florian doesn't take the suggestion well and begins to disengage from the session. His resistance to the feedback is clear, and he becomes increasingly agitated, pushing back against the notion that he needs to step up in the relationship. When another cast member, Ariela Weinberg, steps in to ask him to be respectful to the therapists, Florian dismisses her input. This causes additional tension among the group and leads Stacey to speak up herself. Stacey hits her limit. Throughout the heated exchange, Stacey tries to remain composed. She urges Florian to listen and allow the therapists to explain their observations. Despite her efforts to mediate, Florian continues to deflect and resist the conversation. His insistence that the therapists should instead teach Stacey how to behave indicates a breakdown in communication and mutual respect. At this point, Stacey appears to have reached her breaking point. Embarrassed by the situation and deeply frustrated, she quietly gets up and removes herself from the discussion. Her exit is not dramatic or theatrical, it's measured, deliberate, and above all, dignified. It's clear to everyone in the room that she's made a choice not to continue engaging in a discussion where progress seems impossible. A history of giving Florian chances. Stacey walking away from the tell-all might seem shocking to some, but to those who have followed her journey with Florian closely, it's a long overdue sign of self-preservation. Despite being together for more than a decade, the couple has faced numerous challenges. Notably, their relationship was nearly derailed when Florian was involved in a situation before their wedding that called his loyalty into question. Still, Stacey chose to move forward with their marriage, believing that love and time would help them build something stronger. However, years later, she finds herself facing many of the same emotional challenges. Florian's reluctance to take part in couples therapy was another red flag, signaling his unwillingness to fully engage in the process of growth and healing as a couple. His continued resistance only highlights the imbalance in their relationship, a reality that Stacey has tried to overlook for too long. Therapist's feedback highlights emotional burden. The therapist's observations during the tell-all weren't meant to assign blame, but rather to illuminate the patterns that keep Stacey and Florian stuck in a cycle of frustration. They noted that their relationship lacked equal give and take, with Stacey consistently carrying more of the emotional and relational weight. By acting as the caretaker in their relationship, Stacey had unintentionally allowed Florian to remain emotionally passive. Her nurturing tendencies, coupled with their age difference and differing levels of maturity, may have contributed to this dynamic. But as the therapists pointed out, real balance would require both partners to share the responsibilities of emotional support, communication, and decision-making. When those needs go unaddressed, one person inevitably ends up feeling depleted, and in this case, that person was Stacey. The aftermath of Stacey's walkout. Stacey's choice to leave the tell-all conversation served as a symbolic moment. It wasn't just about avoiding further confrontation. It was about reclaiming her voice and her emotional space. After years of trying to manage the chaos, her quiet walkout spoke volumes. She was no longer willing to be the only one putting in the effort while being met with resistance and indifference. Some might argue that her exit was disrespectful to the process and the group setting, but in reality, it was a moment of clarity for Stacey. She realized that continuing to argue in circles, especially in front of the cameras and their peers, would only lead to more frustration and hurt. By stepping away, she gave herself the opportunity to reflect and prioritize her own well-being. Was this the final straw? Stacey and Florian had recently renewed their vows during a recommitment ceremony, and at the time, it appeared to be a hopeful fresh start. But just a few months later, their dynamic had already begun to crumble again. The tell-all may have served as a wake-up call, not just for Stacey, but perhaps even for Florian, who was publicly confronted with how his behavior was affecting their relationship. The truth is, Stacey has always believed in love and second chances, but she also deserves a relationship where her efforts are matched, her voice is heard, and her feelings are validated. If Florian continues to resist change, Stacey may find herself having to make the difficult choice to walk away permanently. Viewers react to the drama. The tell-all segment sparked strong reactions among fans. Many praised Stacey for maintaining her composure and choosing not to escalate the situation further. Others expressed disappointment in Florian's inability to engage constructively in the therapy process. On social media, viewers shared their support for Stacey, acknowledging how draining it must be to constantly carry the emotional weight in a relationship. Some viewers also discussed the broader themes revealed in the episode, such as emotional maturity, communication breakdowns, and the importance of seeking professional help. 90 Day, the last resort, has often served as a window into the complex realities of love and relationships, and this episode was no exception. Our take: Stacey's strength and clarity. Stacey Silva's quiet departure from the tell-all discussion may be one of her most powerful moments on the show. Rather than continuing a fruitless argument, she chose peace, reflection, and self-respect. That decision demonstrated a strength that many viewers admire. In a world where reality TV often rewards chaos and confrontation, Stacey's mature and deliberate action stood out. It showed that walking away isn't always a sign of defeat. It can be a bold declaration of personal boundaries and emotional health. As the season draws to a close, fans are left wondering what's next for Stacey and Florian. Will this be the beginning of a more balanced chapter in their relationship, or will it mark the beginning of the end? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, Stacey Silva is no longer afraid to stand up for herself.